Hello, everybody. Sorry for the time change. Want to make sure you see my Grinch that my Katie made me. Sorry for the time change, but I did not get out of bed until 2 o'clock today. So I do apologize. We were worn out. We got home last night, I don't know, 8:30 from days full of visiting and holiday excitement. Oh, I'm going to bring down my camera so you can see I made another shirt with a great Timu iron on, and I love the Grinch. Everything has been about the Grinch this Christmas. And in fact, let me bring you these couple things to show you. Okay, so I made a Grinch Christmas tree, and I just bought the little fur and glued it on a little form, and then I just stuck this on so it's not permanently glued. But I want to make one of the little Grinch reindeer antlers that he puts on the dog, so I will put that in. But then I found some funny little pom-poms with little metallic tinsel in them, and it's not wanting to, it's like, I don't know what you want me to focus on. So, but anyway, here's my Grinch tree because we positively had a Grinchy Christmas. And then when I had my grandsons all to myself for about 24 hours, we made all kinds of projects, and one of them were these. It's a funny type of clay. It's like a foam kind of clay, but we made cute little snowmen and love that. And then oh, didn't even bring it down, but got some lovely gifts. I'll have to show you next week. I totally forgot. I already had these in my basket. Bonnie gave me this wonderful bookmark with my initial on it. And of course, as a paper bead maker, when I saw this envelope, I went, yay, because this will be used to make paper beads. So, and it's something like this when it's cardstock, I will try carefully to split it apart. Let me see if I can show you, because some of you might know, to try to do, this is too precious to waste, but to try to make a bead out of something as thick as this card, what you do is you get and you peel the thick cardstock apart. And now sometimes you have to go to all four corners and get it loose first, because sometimes it'll pull one way or the other and it will want to rip. But if you take the excess cardboard away from it, then it makes something much more pliable, and also it'll stick to it. Because a lot of times on the cards, they have a glossy finish. And when you have a glossy finish like that, it's hard to get the glue to adhere. But this is going to make wonderful beads, and I'll show you next week. So thank you, Miss Bonnie. In fact, yesterday we were opening presents at my daughter's because my son came down with his wife and two kids. And he had some amazing gold wrapping paper. And I was telling everyone, careful when you're opening, and I want the gold wrapping paper because it was really beautiful. So, and while I'm showing you, this is from another year of Christmas present opening. It was such beautiful wrapping. I thought, I'm not throwing this away. So I made a bead necklace from that. So, in fact, we had a little contest, and it was who's the one most likely to watch Christmas movies, who's the one most likely to buy presents at the last minute. And then when they came to who's the most likely to save the Christmas wrap from year to year, they all said Nana. Yep, I'm guilty. If I see something pretty, I want it. So, but as long as I don't let it sit around and I make really pretty things with it, because I didn't have a red Christmas necklace, and this is very shiny and pretty. So, thank you. And then Bonnie had sent me another card. This will make some lovely beads as well, and another bookmark. Isn't that sweet? I just thank you. And what I can't show you is I had a wonderful Christmas elf send me a package from Labrador in Nova Scotia. And oh, I'll show you what was in that next week. So I didn't expect any of this, but it was delightful. Thank you so much. And then I am a kid at heart. So I love buying toys to give to the kids. And since I'm attention deficit, little hyperactive, I am very much into tactile things. So this has been, I was sitting there last night just making it all kinds of shapes. And it's one of those things that's come from the invention of 3D printing. Is that just too cute? I'll show you a few more things next week. I just kind of had to throw this together pretty fast. And so I didn't have time to gather. In fact, I'll take pictures of some of our decorations. But I do want to say, as much as I loved Christmas, I'm so glad we're done for a year because I'm exhausted. My throat hurts. I am going to probably just, oh, Santa gave you a Care Bear. I love that, Marcia. See, I love toys. And when one of my kids gives me a stuffed animal or something, I get so excited. So, in fact, this year, my daughter gave me a little miniature Grinch and then a little Grinch people and sleigh and gifts on a little plastic background so I can set up my own Grinchy village. So I love that. And I think I told you when I made the Grinch tree, all the trimmings that I did from that fake fur, I stuck it in a ball and now I have another Grinch ornament. So to me, it's all about having fun and what are you getting set that you can play with. And to me, that's very, very important. Oh, I forgot to bring down my Christmas house. I had promised you to show you inside of it. I was showing that off to my daughter and her fiance. I was showing it off to my son and his kids and his wife. I mean, I almost want to go out on the street and say, have you seen this? Because thank goodness Polly taught me how to open it. I would have been too afraid to open it. So you're not ready for it to be over? Well, I got to tell you. Okay, Miss Polly, got to tell you. This year, I just couldn't get excited about Christmas. I only made a few ornaments. Like I made an ornament for Mark that was happy retirement, first year retirement. I always do a 2025 a year in review ornament. I did a few ornaments, but not many. And then, oh, you're going to have to wait and see. I was supposed to make 7 or 8 Grinch pillows. Remember the Grinch pillows? In fact, it was in the opening picture today. I'll tell you in a little while how many I got done. And because they were hand embroidered and they all took a while. And my poor hands are so beaten up. And I've stuck my hands so many times with needles because sometimes you go to pull the thread through, you have to pull it hard because it's sewn on Minky and I had a stabilizer on the back, which makes it harder to get a hand needle through. And so many times I went to pull the needle through. The needle stayed. It wouldn't come through, but my hand bounced back and hit the needle. So then when they say it takes blood, sweat, and tears, it did. And I'll be able to tell you just how many of the 8 that I finished. And I'll tell you exactly when the last that I managed to get done actually got done, because I know myself. I don't know about y'all, but if I don't get it done before Christmas, I tend to just I get like, move on, I'm done. That's not good, because then somebody doesn't get what I intended for them to get. So I'm going to keep you hanging on for that one. But, oh gosh, thank goodness to Mark. He is a Grinch. He's very grumbly this time of year. My other daughter has somebody just like that. And it's really hard to get in the mood when you're having a hard time getting in the mood in the first place. But then you got a Grinch to live with, you know. And so, but he did help. And, oh, so I decorated all of the house, except I left the tree. I can't. You know, Larry, I am with you. I'm going to start so much early. I say this every year, but I've got to. So I was save the tree to last. Now we bought a beautiful tree, and I do live trees every year, and well, fresh trees. And it's not alive anymore. I hate to don't tell the tree, but it is a gorgeous tree and has so many branches. So I saved it in the last couple days before Christmas. I would go in and throw a loop of lights and then walk away going, I can't deal with it. Come in the next day, throw a loop of lights. Ah, gosh, I hate putting lights on a tree. Now, I love the tree once it's decorated, and I will sit in that room and just be mesmerized by it. But, oh, good. Yeah, I spent 7 hours wrapping Christmas presents. 7 hours, because I like everything wrapped for everyone. You know, it just kind of makes it that much more exciting. And I've always said, if you didn't wrap them, it feels to me like pigs at a trough. You know, you just are chomping in, and I want it to just slow down just a little bit and last longer. So you too, Mary. So anyway, finally, it was the day after Christmas. My son was due to come in just a couple hours, and I said, I've got to do something to this tree. So I pull out lights, the rest of the lights. The first 2 I put on, no problem. Out of the rest of the 6, 3 of them were half dead. Not a good thing when you're trying to decorate the tree the day after Christmas and you didn't want to decorate it in the first place. I used some words I don't often use and said, okay. And it was hot here. I don't know about your weather, but it was Christmas, the day after Christmas, or was it? Oh, yesterday. It was like 72. So it was kind of hot. So I was sweating and trying to get these lights on with the 3 that were half broken. I'm like, this is all I've got. So I took the dead end of the lights and wound them up and just stuck it in the tree, and then just used the parts that lit up. I got the lights on the tree. I got on long stranded bead garland on the tree. I looked at the box, big box full of 30 years of ornaments. And then I looked at a bag of tinsel, which I save every year. And I said, I am not doing the ornaments. There must be 75 ornaments in there. I'm not doing it. So I grabbed the bag of tinsel, stood back and threw it at the tree, just anywhere it would land, cleaned up off the floor, threw it back on the tree. That's as far as I got. And you know what? I'm almost 70, and that's okay. So everything in the house got decorated, but that tree. And you know what? I threw so much tinsel on that tree, you can't tell. So Mark said, okay, I tell you what, soon as Christmas is over, we're going to buy all new lights for the tree, okay? And I'm like, okay. And he said, let's get LEDs because they don't burn out as easily. So I'm like, okay, good. But what I need to buy is a really handsome 30-year-old man to come and decorate the tree in his shorts. And hey, now that I can get excited about that. So anyway, oh goodness gracious. But what are you going to do? Christmas is one of those things. It's kind of hit and miss, and you do the best you can. But so far as I got all the presents ordered for everyone, and I got Mark all his presents, and I got myself all the presents. It's hard to get a Grinch to want to buy you something. But, and from Labrador, Mark got a gift, very well deserved, saying thank you for being the IT man. And that was wonderful. But I was real proud of the gifts I got and managed to try to take each person into effect. So I'm good at that. There are some things I'm really good at, and some things like, do I have to? Oh, okay. Who did baking this year? Did any of you do much in the way of baking? Oh, decorative bags. Now, I like that idea, Debbie. You are so smart. So, I got to tell you. So, I was going to make I made a chocolate pound cake, and that came out good. I used Nestle's cocoa instead of Hershey. I'm going to go back to Hershey. We couldn't find it at the time last year that I needed it, and I do like Hershey's. So, pound cake came out great. Good thing, too, because it's 3 cups of sugar, 5 eggs. I mean, lots of ingredients. But you bought flour to bake? Well, you're halfway there. I'm so proud of you, Mary. Cheryl did some baking. Good job. So I told myself, because I'm trying to lose this weight, and last year I gained weight making all the Christmas things that people don't usually eat that much anymore. And I ate them, but I said, no, not for this year. So instead of making a pumpkin pie, I made a sweet potato pie. Took that. Most of it's gone. 6 kinds of cookies. Good job, Debbie. My goodness. Oh, Polly made a really good coffee cake. I like those ideas, something a little different. I would have loved to have made the old-fashioned Hershey's cocoa fudge, but I said, can't do it. Marsha, I like your style, honey. I like your style. So I went to make peanut butter kissy cookies because I know that's everyone's favorite. My son especially loves them. I made a triple batch. That was probably my first mistake, but I thought I'm going to make them and then I'm not going to do anything. I mean, that's it. Well, I was adding all the ingredients, doing the math in my head, but of course, getting tired, and I only bake them once a year at Christmas, so I was doing the math. It said each batch needed 1 3/4 cup of flour, so I said, okay, I've got to triple it. I'll take the 1 from the 1 3/4 and put 3 in. And then I'll take the 3/4 and I'll put 3 in of that. And for some reason, my little feeble, tired brain said 1.5 cups more flour should do it. Well, if any of you people are good at math, you'll know I was 3/4 of a cup short on the flour. So we baked them and they flattened out. And Mark was trying to get them off the pan and they kept crumbling and smashing. So we had to cook them longer. Well, the good news is they're really good. They're really peanutty. But the bad news is they look like a flat kissy cookie. And the kissies fall off because they haven't baked up around it. So, oh my gosh, it was so funny. Oh, Mark kept buying candy and ice cream. Oh, that's cute. What a sweetie. So then the only other baking problem I had was I wanted to make my rolls, and I have a potato flake based liquid sourdough that I keep going every year. And so everybody loves these sourdough rolls. They're really good. Well, I thought I don't need to read the recipe. I just made them for Thanksgiving. They were great. They're supposed to be like this tall. Okay. And I somehow forgot. You feed them 3/4 of a cup of sugar in the liquid starter, along with, I always refresh it with a little yeast and then more potato flakes and water. And so anyway, you have to let that sit out for at least 8 hours. And then you make it with, and I always put 1.25 cups of the starter mix instead of just a cup. Make sure it's going to work and have a lot of flavor. I forgot that it needed, once you put it, I put it in the bread machine to do the dough stage. I forgot it needed another 1/3 cup of sugar. Well, what that means is it did great on the first rise. I let it rise overnight. Did great. But then when I knocked it down and made it into rolls, it didn't. It hardly rose at all because the poor little yeast ran out of the sugar they need to grow and multiply. So they tasted pretty good. In fact, we liked that they weren't quite as sweet as before, but they were good exercise for jaw muscles. So they were a little dense. In fact, we said, if anybody wants to take target at something, they're great for target practice. So anyway, those are my sad stories for Christmas. But I think all in all, I'm going to take it as it is. And my daughter and her fiance did a wonderful job hosting Christmas Day, and then yesterday when my son was up. So my son drove all the way from Maryland and then left the boys with me, and they're now 5 and 6. And the older they get, the more fun I have with them. So we had them overnight, and then we drove them back to the next town where my daughter lives so that we could all have a family Christmas. And we took a lot of finger foods because my daughter was like, I don't want to wear her out. And plus, they're saving up for a wedding. So, But anyway, by the time we got home at 8:30 last night, it was everything we could do to just get into the house. We're not used to a 5 and 6-year-old, and they're the most wonderful kids in the world. But there's a lot of things that kids need. For some reason, they get hungry. I mean, really? And they need their faces washed, and then they need put in bed. And, there's all these little things that somehow when your kids reach their 40s, you tend to forget you did. So anyway, but yesterday when they woke up, we did 4 crafts. I had the fur on the the Grinch tree, and had them put all the pom-poms in a top bow. Then we made these foam kit snowmen, and I think this is really a cute one. And the kit came with the carrot nose, the buttons eyes, the coal eyes, and even the buttons on the front that came with the scarf, the hat, and the arms. So how easy and fun was that? So then with the boys, I had this gingerbread kit that I bought that Mark and I never felt like doing. So it's like, hey, kids, we're going to do a gingerbread house. And then, the other one, I had these compressed foam circles. So we drew pictures and put water on, and the pictures would swell all up. But they are so good now. They're not toddlers anymore. I've got to better prepare for things to do because they got all 4 of the craft things done, and there were still hours to go. So, what you do then is if you're a good grandparent, what you do when you run out of fun activities, turn on the TV. So I put a movie on for them. And the night before, I knew they would be tired from traveling. So we watched the original Grinch Stole Christmas, and then the Disney, I guess, version, the cartoon version, which is wonderful. but I got to tell you, I'm exhausted. I got up this morning, everything hurts. Is anyone else? I mean, y'all are probably too young and too spry, but I got up and felt every muscle in my body. So I was real slow moving. And I went back to bed. And then when I did get up, I was still slow moving. But sorry, I. But did any of you have a real good story to tell? We would love to hear it. Oh, and good news. Okay. I just want to put a shout out. Supposedly there's a meeting going on about Ukraine. We need to support Ukraine. This war needs to stop. It's ridiculous. So let's cross our fingers and hope everybody gets sensible and says, no, you're not taking their land. Because, you know, if the country gets away from taking land from one person, guess what? They do it again. So then, told you about my Christmas activities. If any of you come up or run across a picture of a quilt or quilt pattern that you think would have a good cottage look for my daughter's wedding in March, send it to me. I've already received, I think, 2 good suggestions. I've got the Irish Homestead quilt here. I watched them earlier today. They did their first ever live because I'm trying to figure out where they live so I can send this quilt when I get it done to them. But I was real tickled that they had that first live. But I need to get back to it, so I will be doing that. Now, the big excitement today is that what is it? Thursday, I think, is New Year's Day. So Thursday, we are going to do the Merry Mayhem. Anybody who wants to, you don't have to. Don't worry, I know you're tired. This is something Merry Mayhem designed for the ladies who might not have families in the area and would have time and would like to do something fun. She has been writing mystery quilts for 30 years, maybe. So, and they're free. You can go on her site, marymayhem.com, and let you see how it's spelled. It's Mary, like Merry Christmas. Whoops, sorry. But Mayhem is Mayhem. Merry Mayhem. And this year it's called Everybody Duck. So you've got me. Part 1 and part 2 are already up. Part 1 tells you what fabrics you need and how to cut them. She has sizes from crib size on up, so it depends on what you feel like. But these are things, as tired as I am, I need to treat myself and do a little surprise because I'm going to have a busy month and I'll tell you about that. But we're going to do a live JITSI starting Thursday morning at 11 a.m. So if you are a member of our group, you'll already know right where the address is. If you can't, for some reason, get on the group, shoot me an email at ourtimetoquilt@gmail.com. I'll send you the link. If you don't belong to our free IO group, then just send me an email. Let me write the address too for those who want to be able to see it and write it down. At USA Sensible. Don't you know it, Miss Polly? Okay, Our Time to Quilt, and that's at gmail.com. And if you write me and say, I need a link, I will send it to you. So starting at 11 and sewing until we're just too tired and don't care anymore. Let's say you don't want to start this mystery because you got too much else to do. Then bring whatever you're working on. We'll sit and sew. The nice thing about the JITSI is we get to speak, so we don't have to type or, wait. And if you want to, you can even turn your camera on. We can see you. Just depends on what you want to do. If you wanted to bring a margarita, who am I to say anything? Drink it from me too. If you want to bring chocolate, whatever. If you want to come in your jammies, I probably will. So it's just a fun way for us to get together if you have any time. And if you hate football, which I do now. So, but I'll be here at 11. I think the mystery starts at 10 a.m. What I'm going to do the next 2 days is gather the fabric I want to use for the mystery. She writes really good description of medium, light, dark, what things are the focal fabric. She does pretty good because she wants you to like the quilt when she's done. So I'm going to pick out some fabric because we know I have enough, and then I'll quickly cut it out. And then I believe the sewing doesn't start till this part 2, and it looks like we're going to make, I was going to say flying geese, but you know what? I'm not sure. So, and one thing I've told you before is my piecing improved immensely when I started doing mystery quilts because you focus on one step at a time. And I'm going to try very hard this time. We'll see. Supposedly, if you show up prepared and with ready to start right at 10 a.m., you can get that top finish that day. I never have, but there's always hope. Oh, I know what. I was supposed to bring some of my Merry Mayhem quilts I've done in the past. Let me write that down and I'll bring them to our JITSI so that you can see. So, Merry Mayhem quilts. Okay. I used to be a quilt tester until I realized I'm not a good quilt tester. Instead of being careful and reading the instructions thoroughly to make sure there were no mistakes, I just looked at the pictures and sewed it. Not a good thing. So I had to resign from that. Now, our Bonnie's a good quilt tester, but me, not so good. What do the purple crowns mean? The purple crowns, you know what? I don't know. I thought it meant moderators, but I'm not even sure, honestly. So that's a good question. I'll have to figure that out. So, now I have a quilt class that I'm going to probably leave around the 20th of January. And no, if they hear anything that makes a knocking noise, they think, oh, watch out. And if you go, oh, hi, come on in, they usually start barking. So, but this is going to be the quilt class that I take. It's called Pecan Blossoms. This is going to be the quilt pattern, and I love these colors. And I'm so lucky. I've got to write Miss Lisa back. She wrote me back before Christmas, and I meant to write her back, and I'm just realizing I never did. So I'm going to write her. She gave me the beautiful, beautiful, I've always loved them, the French General. She gave me a big collection. And so I can't wait to use it because this quilt, I thought, this is it. Now, the original pattern, for some of you who maybe aren't as colonial Williamsburgy as I am, you know, I lived an hour away, so you get indoctrinated into it. I was going to show you that the pattern on, oh, I don't have it. The pattern that you download is in oranges and peaches or something like that. But I can't wait. I think it is so absolutely beautiful. So that's going to be exciting. Let me put that over there. Well, hold on just a second. I dumped it on the floor and I don't want to fall over it. Okay. So, all right. So I've got that to cut up and get ready. So I've got to work. I just realized how busy I'm going to be because I've got to work on this double Irish chain that I'm doing for the Irish homestead. So, and I've got everything cut out for it, and it's coming together. But what I did is found a way to make the pattern work on a stripped version. So I watched them renovate what was an Irish 200-year Irish ruin, 200 plus year old Irish ruin. And I took the colors that she was using, all different kinds of greens, and made. So here is a quarter of it. So I need to finish the other 3/4. But it's a darling to make. And I think I might have shown you this already, and I apologize for doing that. But I want to let me use my close-up camera and show you what there are always ways. There are better ways to build that mousetrap. So let me show you, okay, on the close-up camera. And if you look, normally a double Irish chain is done so the blocks are on point, and then that would make these squares straight. But I saw it this way by a woman in Australia, fell in love with it. So let me tell you what I've done. I looked at this and thought, that's a whole lot of square and a square blocks. Oh my gosh. So I said, there's got to be a way to sew them in strip sets. So do you see right here on this diagonal? In fact, let me grab a couple rulers because then I can isolate it so you can see it. But look right here. Do you see in between those rulers? Do you see this? And you will see that you can sew them this way. And so that's what I have done. And instead of having 4 corners meet here, it's a solid, like right there, it's a solid white square, solid white. And so you can just sew them in strip sets. Now let me show you on the actual piece here. And I'm going to remember to move the camera back so you can see. I mean, I've been doing this for 8 years. You would think I would know to stay in focus. All right, here we go. So what I did is I sewed these strip sets together. Let me get my rulers again. And you can see, here they are. And I mixed up the colors, sewed the strip set. When this would have been a full square, and I trimmed it to fit it in, trimmed this in half. But you can see how I did this. You can see right there the trim, right there the trim. Now, for these pieces, which are the horizontal bars, I again did them on the diagonal as strip sets. So I'm just cut all the different colors, numerous strips. Then I cut the white in numerous strips, made the strip sets, then cut them horizontally to get the perfect little square. And there you go. And so the white fabrics have to be cut. Sometimes they're whole, sometimes they're half, no problem. So anyway, I've got to get this done because I really want to get it to them as quickly as I can. The good thing I chose this, it's really an ivory kind of white. Let me see. I'll show you. Here is real white, and it's kind of an ivory to kind of look like the cottage walls. And what I need to do, it's going to have a lot of good space to do some really pretty quilting. So I want to take my time with this one and do something really nice. But so there is that. I've got to get working on that. And I guess now that Christmas is over, I don't have to clean the house anymore, so I can work on making that. So while I've got the camera over here, we are going to start a new project next week. And let me show you this. Our Bonnie sent this to us, and we were fascinated with this. And this is supposedly a company that you can buy a placemat or table runner like this. Now, one thing I want to show you. I am 99 and something percent sure that this is an AI representation. Let me tell you how I know, okay? When you see the hat stick up like this, anybody who does any quilting or sewing knows it would be very hard to get the brim to stick out like that. There are ways to do it, but it's not easy. And if you look at the arms and how they're padded, yes, you can do trapunto, but that's a little suspicious. Then look at the holly leaves, and they look like they kind of, you know, have their up and down three-dimensional shape. That's very hard to do on regular quilting. And then the raised little berries, and these are raised. And how do you put those on, but it doesn't affect the puffed up areas around it? Now, then, of course, this scarf looks amazingly puffy. And in a perfect world, you can try to do that, but then look at the carrot nose. The carrot nose has these wrinkles in it, and yet it's sewn all around the edge. That's really hard to do, too. But the thing that really let me know this was AI. Now, let me see. Oh, okay, good. I think you can see it. See the quilting on the body of the snowman? Well, you do quilting last. How is this body puffed up but has quilting on it? Yes, you can put batting underneath, but the moment you quilt on it, it's going to really press it down. And this is so nice and rounded. And if the quilting was done once it was put on the background, it would not be as puffy as this. So there's just little hints. And like the sewing along here, that's kind of tricky to do, right along that binding. So there are just quite a few things that tell me. Remember earlier we did the turtles on the beach quilt because it was so three-dimensional? So what I did though is I like this. I think that's really cute. And you know that I did my Rudolph. And, well, I'm sorry, his name is Doug. I have loved this. Everyone that sees this loves it. Maybe I'll turn it sideways so it'll fit good. But I love little Doug. And he's puffy, but see, there's no sewing on top. If I put this in puffy and then quilted, see how it would crunch it down. So that's why I wanted it. How did they do that? But I put stuffing under all of these. But anyway, I love this. It's with fabric and then finished with micron pens, acrylic paints, and ink tints. And I love this more than probably almost anything else I've made. And so making it on a canvas, it's easy to hang up. And it's just so cute. So you can change them out for the holidays so easily. Well, I loved him so much that I thought, well, I can only leave him up for Christmas. So if I do a snowman, then I can leave this up longer. And this can stay up until March. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, we're going to take and we're going to make the whole head and body a separate piece first. Then we're going to pad it and we're going to stitch it onto the background. We are going to have to do this stitching before we put it on the background because otherwise we won't get the puffiness we want. I'm going to have to figure out how to make the nose crinkly. What we're going to do when we do our next, what did I just call it? I called it it's a portrait on a canvas. When we do our next canvas quilting, what we're going to do is figure out how did they do some of this and how we can replicate it the best we can. I don't think we'll be able to make the leaves look quite as three-dimensional, but we're going to give it our best shot. Okay, if y'all are willing, we're gonna deconstruct this snowman and see how we can make it work and still have that cute cute look. I can tell you right now, the buttons probably should be glued down or stitched down just to the top surface. You don't want to stitch them through the quilt because then they will sink in. And I like this look exactly like it is. We'll be taking batting strips and we'll be stuffing everything. So be ready if you have some yarn that you want to do the trapunto, or if you want to cut the batting strips to just the size of the arms. We'll need batting for this. We'll need batting for the berries. In fact, these berries look like they are embroidered on, but we're going to make them of fabric. So I will show you, everything will be like that, will be made before it's put down. And then you're going to have to decide, do you do a hand applique? Do you try to stitch it down by a machine? Do you use glue or fusible? So we're going to use anything we want to try to replicate this look the best possible. All right, I will be drawing up a pattern you can have. In fact, I do have a pattern for Doug. I have forgotten to put it on the list, but I do have a pattern for Doug I can put on our group's IO, and I will have a pattern for this. All right, so I just thought I would let you know this is the next thing we have coming up, and this one will, before this one's ready to take down in March, we'll have a March canvas quilt ready. So, okay, so that is that. And, oh, I bet you're right. Hello, Regal Rose, hon. So good to see you. All right, and then just for those who might not have seen it, this is the wonderful quilt that we got the idea from Mr. Reed of, now I don't remember, Winder Aspire on Etsy. And this is ready now for me to put the picture frame border on. So what I have on the side now will just be like a little linen, what do they call it? When they frame a picture, this will be like a linen mat board. Okay, this will be like, that'll represent that. And then I'm going to pick out what color to use for the picture frame border. Once I get the picture frame border on, then I'm going to quilt this. And the quilting will be a little minimized just to make sure it will help in making the tree look a little more three-dimensional, and even the mountain ranges. It'll help delineate those a little. But I will be done with this, and then I'm going to send a photo of this to Mr. Reed and see what he thinks of our paper reproduction of his beautiful artwork. But that's Winder Aspire on Etsy. And I want to thank him for working with me on this. It's been so much fun to work off an artist work and try to recreate that same feel in fabric. So I want to thank him very much and look forward to doing more collaborative work in the future. So I think this has come out really well, and now it's ready for the next step. And I did not have time to do that, but I will get to it, I promise. All right, so now let me come back to y'all. And then we can go to the next thing. Find my mouse. Sorry about this. You skip 1 week, and then it's like, oh, how do I work this mouse? So anyway, okay. The next thing I've talked about is I showed you the Grinch tree and the snowman. My goodness, I have talked just about everything. That's exciting. So, this coming up Thursday, we're going to do a live JITSI. Please let me know. Stiff interfacing to make things stand like holly leaves. I like that. I do have something. It's almost like a buckram. So thank you, Debbie. And you know what? I think it's not fusible, but I think I'll make it fusible. That would be a great idea. Thank you. Please tell me along the way if ever you think of something, pardon me, that I haven't figured out. If you think of it, let me know. Because that is, I mean, I learned so much from all of y'all. Hello, Elizabeth Crafting. Hello. So, yes, we've been doing good work lately. I'm real proud of us. So now I think I'm looking down this list and I think I've talked about pretty much everything I had intended. I just want to reinforce Thursday, we're going to have a live JITSI starting at 11 a.m. That's New York time. And I tried to make it a little later for some of you that are further west. But if you go to, let me go ahead and type in Mary Mayhem. And it is free. If you want to give her a little coffee money, that's great. But it's marymayhem.com. You wouldn't have any spaces. And it will list the New Year's Day mystery. And so the first two clues are already up. And it's everything's ducky, I believe, was the clue. And Thursday, we're just going to start sewing soon as we come on here. And you can do nothing. You can do knitting. You can do crochet. You can sew your own project, or you can work on something like this. And it's a good chance if you have any questions. What do mysteries mean? How do you do them? I can explain that. And stiff interfacing used for certain types of fabric bags. Exactly, there are. And there are some that even are fusible. So, and if let's say you have a medium weight fusible interfacing, then use a couple layers on it. It should work. But thank you for that. So, be thinking of what you think will help us recreate the AI design cute snowman. So, Thursday, I'll see y'all at 11 a.m. New York time. And bring chocolate because it always makes the day go better. And so I think I'm going to be wild and bring a ginger ale or a Coke. Those are treats for me now because, got to get this weight off. But I think I deserve one. I've been very good. So anyway, but we'll sew until we can't stand it anymore. And JITSI's free and you can log on and we'll just chat and enjoy. Now, and I will send you the link if you're not already a member of our group SIO. It's a free chat group that I can post all my patterns on. People can post free patterns, show the things. Each person has their own photo album. And so if you wish to join, it's our time to quilt at gmail.com is my email address, and I can send you an invitation, although some people find it on their own and send me a request. So either way, and I will have the link on that. And in fact, the link's already on there, I believe still. And so that's all really good. But next week I'll have pictures of decorations and the kids and stuff like that. That will be fun. And I'll talk to you more about what Santa left me under the tree. I'll give you a very big hint. It's all stuff to do with polymer clay. Now that I have found Jessima tutorials on YouTube, but I am loving using my up to 30-year-old polymer clay. So it's like, I can't wait to do the next project. All right. So the question I posed to you in the first part of the show was about these Grinch pillows. And then I'm trying to think if I got any new, I think I got some new pictures, but let me see. But let me find the Christmas folder, and that way I'll show you what I'm talking about. And here, oops. Okay, let me bring this over to place it. And okay. So now let me go to this. This I saw somewhere. I don't even remember what. And I ordered back in October, I ordered 2 yards of lime green minky. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this other picture that was on the front, but in enlarging it, it lost the right color. So let me see. Yeah, this makes it kind of come out looking aqua, and it's not. It's lime green. And that's the one I made myself. And I plan to make 8. And that was because I wanted to have one for me, and then I needed 7 to have enough for grandkids and one for the parent pairs. And I got done 6 of the 8. And let me tell you, it was tough. Oh, there's a Quilting Life free block of the month pattern. Thank you, Mare, for telling us that. Hi, Mare. And so I was really happy that I got 6 done. Now, when did I get the last ones? I got 1 mailed off before Christmas. Good girl. I got 3 that were given out Christmas Day. Good job. I'd finished 1 Christmas night when I got home. That was good. The other one got finished yesterday, 2 hours before going over to bring the boys back to their parents. So that is called Too Close for Comfort. And it's like I said earlier, when you put the stabilizer on, it is tough to try to hand sew through. And I do know of some new pictures we got. So let me check for those. But trying to get through the stabilizers was so hard by hand that I kept pliers nearby to help pull the needle through. I even broke a needle. So, okay. And that was in my hand. That was using my fingers trying to pull it through. I want to show you this. This is from Debbie Holt. And I love the way she decorates. And she was so kind to send us these. So here they are. Look at that quilt. Is that just charming? And it is so wonderful to have a wonderful panel that then you can decorate. And that is so pretty. Nice pothos too. Okay. Then look at her staircase. I love this. No matter where you live, find your little area, your little space for your own art gallery. And here are all these things that she has that she decorates for every season. She uses her own quilts, a lot of things she creates. But isn't that beautiful? I love it. And then here is a hall table with a beautiful vignette. Isn't that lovely? Love, love, love it. Okay. And look at this bookcase with her collection of Santas. Isn't that great? I love it. And Santa can be in whatever form, and you still absolutely love them. Even a potholder form or whatever this cute one is. Beautiful, beautiful work. Love the cotton bowl there. And here's a mantle. And I love it. It's very understated, but beautiful. So Debbie's got a good eye for decorating. Really good eye. And here's the couch with pillows and a Christmas. And that looks like a table center. And that looks perfect on that couch. Nice, nice, nice. Look at this cute. Isn't that a cutie? So I forget to bring out, oh, look at this one. I forget to bring out all my Christmas quilts. I need to get with it there. All right. Let me see. Oh, look at this. These are a quilt stand with several things made. And that is so pretty. I love this antique chair here with the reed seat. So just beautiful vignettes. Thank you so much, Debbie. So, all right, I'm trying to just see if there's anything. We know that Marcia sent us a picture of her snow recently. I'm still waiting for some on the ground. And I watch a woman on YouTube who is a sheep farmer in Canada. Oh man, have they gotten hammered with cold temperatures. I'm looking again. I don't think I'll do a full show and tell next week. And I think Miss Joe did send us. Oh my gosh, this quilt is so beautiful. She ended up buying EQ8 so she could learn how to make this. And it's a snail trail block with this wonderful whale panel in the center. I think this is absolutely gorgeous and well worth her getting the EQ8 design system. That is magnificent. Way to go, Miss Joe. That's a very good artistic eye. Oh, that was something else. I'm sorry. Okay, let me go back. Sometimes when I find designs, I look in the wrong places. One more time, just to show you some things that our resident artist, Dolores, that she has said, because she wasn't sure if I showed them. If I did, I apologize for the repeat. But look at this chair cover. Look at that French braid seat cushion. Look at the chevron with the applique. Isn't that beautiful? And if you want to be jealous, look at this thread collection. Wow. So, and look at this wonderful, amazing felted fox that she made. Isn't that exquisite? She's so talented. One time she made a raccoon. It was so realistic. I couldn't look at it. Here is her amazing grandson with his first collage. And in fact, that's on a canvas too. Good job. So isn't that a wonderful collage horse he did? So very, very talented. Look at that. That is exquisite. And these are little 3-inch miniature works of art. And I think I might not have downloaded all of them. So hopefully by next Sunday, I'll have more downloaded correctly. But I think if I have missed you, I do apologize. Did Miss Bonnie? Oh, Miss Bonnie, yes, she did have 2 things. Here is something she's working on. She loves this is the drawing of it, and then she's going to work it in black thread called Black Work. And she belongs to an SCA group. And then she wanted to show us, look at this beautiful felt garland that's been hand applique. Now, let me tell you, this is a long-term project. If I made this, I would keep it up all year long. I think it's amazing. So keep that in mind if you ever want to make something during the year, maybe once a week, make a little link for it to go in. If you are a member of the Slow Stitch group, then this would be right up your alley. And you don't have to use wool felt. You can use acrylic, make it less expensive. I think that's just beautiful. And don't we all have somewhere have, let me back up here. Don't we all somewhere have lots of little strands of DMC floss? All right, I'm not seeing anything else. So I will make sure we'll do a full art quilt show and tell next week. All right. I think we're done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. I was fast this time. I guess it's because I haven't, I didn't have much to show you. Everything's gone out to the recipient. So, but I wanted to thank you very much. Don't forget, I'll put a reminder again on the iGroups IO. Isn't that neat, Cheryl? I love that garland. And, but I will, and Regal Rose, thank you for stopping by. And there was someone else too. Mare, so good to see Mare. And there was somebody else sewing. I might not see it. Sometimes when you're trying hard to look for something, you can't quite see it. But thank you for everyone. I know this time was all wonky, but thank you for joining me. All of you are just such dears. So, and next Sunday, this Thursday, we'll have a JITSI sew-in chat, and we can talk about favorite Christmas stories or favorite Christmas fails. They're always fun. And I'll see you Thursday on JITSI, and then next Sunday we'll do show and start our snowman canvas. Canvases are very cheap, so if you look on sale from Michael's or anywhere they carry them, look for a good sale. Buy a pack of 8 or 10, because I'm really liking those for fast and fun decorations. They don't need to be sewn, they just need to be fused and glued. That is my kind of sewing. So take good care. Oh, y'all are all so wonderful. Thank you so much. Y'all are doll babies, and I will see you next week. And thank goodness Christmas is done for a whole year. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.